Hello, everybody. Well, a big warm welcome to each one of you on behalf of PSTV. I'm your host, Mohini, for the evening today, and I extend a hearty welcome to all my viewers right here, right away on PSTV. Yes, guys, we are live with another episode today. So come on, quickly in the chat box, tell me how has the weekend been, guys? How's the weekend been? Because it's Monday, we've kickstart into a new week right now. And so quickly tell me how has the last week been? How's the weekend been for all of you? I'm waiting for all your comments in the comment section. Quickly, everybody. Come on, so I can see a lot of you already typing in. Thank you guys for joining us today evening. Some of you are saying hi's and hellos. Hello and hi to everybody right here. So quickly tell me, how has the weekend been for all of you? Because it's Monday, so I need to know how has the last weekend been for everybody. Okay, so I see that I'm getting a lot of vacating, and having a good time. And I can see that the weekend's been great. So I can definitely see that, a lot of you are vacating. You guys are having a good time. You're on a vacation, a short trip. Lovely and good to know that. And all I can say is have a good time, but just be safe, guys. Be healthy, be safe. Keep all the safety precautions in mind and just enjoy your vacation to the utmost. And for a few of us who are at home, definitely, all I can say is laughter is an instant vacation, guys. Yes, laughter is an instant vacation. That's another one of my favorite quotes. And definitely, and all of us at home can definitely take that quick vacation right away, right now. Okay. So laughter is an instant vacation. And like Charlie Chaplin says, that a day without laughter is basically a day wasted, everybody. And let's not waste this day. So let's all of us just send me your smileys, your grins, your laughters in the chat box right away, okay, and get the session started. So quickly, everyone. All right, so I can see a lot of the grins are coming in, a lot of the hearts are coming in, the fire is coming in, the smileys are coming in. Okay, lovely, lovely, guys. And thank you for that energy. Thank you, everybody. Now, moving on. Well, you and I, we both know that we are on this journey, and this journey is called Understanding the Art of Podcasting, wherein every single day we are just delving a little deeper into the field of podcasting, everybody. And now we're almost towards the close of podcasting, but yes, we will be coming up with something new for all of you. But we're almost through with podcasting season one, maybe. Yeah, all right. Okay, so moving on to what's happening, what have I planned for all of you today, right here. Okay, so like we always start these days with the quote of the day. That's the initial thing that we start with. After that, we have break the ice, which is about do you prefer, wherein I pose a question which has two options and you have to choose your correct option. Moving on to today's agenda, well, we all know that it has been the comedy podcast, guys. So we are going to be talking about. Okay, so a lot of you are saying hi. Okay, hello for joining us. We are doing a session on podcasting, and we are doing the comedy theme-based podcast for this time. Okay, so we are going to be talking about creating a comedy podcast, launching a comedy podcast, fun activity for all of you. 5 podcasts to listen to, fun podcast, comedy podcast to tune into for all of you. And there is another fun segment, guys. Okay, so the fun activity, one more time for all of you. So please stay tuned till the end, okay? I want everybody to stay tuned and participate in the fun activity that I have planned for all of us today. Okay, and then before we close the session, we will do a quick recap of the learnings. I'm still getting the highs. Lovely. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay, and stay tuned, please. And the recap of the learnings. And of course, after that, before I close the session, I will be allocating fun things for homework. All right. Okay, and now we start with the quote of the day because it's the comedy theme podcast and because it's about laughter and smiles. Laughter is the sun that drives winter from the human face. And isn't this a gorgeous little quote, guys? Definitely laugh more, smile more, and spread it all around you. Okay, so that is our quote of the day. And now we are on break the ice. All right. So the first question for do you prefer? Do you prefer to teleport into another country or into another world? So tell me, what are your preferences, guys? What do you prefer doing? Well, for me, I think at the moment, teleport anywhere. Okay, after the lockdown and after the pandemic, and just sort of teleport anywhere. You can teleport me to a country or to another world. I just want to go anywhere, basically. So come on, tell me your answers. I do get the smileys for that. I do get the thumbs up for that. But definitely tell me your answers. What are your thoughts on this one? Okay. All right, lovely. So I get a lot of teleport into another country or into another world. So it's like a mixed bag response that I can see here. Great to see all your responses, everybody. Now, okay, lovely, lovely. So okay, so now there's another interesting response that I have here, country, because what if that world doesn't have water and oxygen? My God, that's good thinking, Sanjukta. I like that response from you that, you'd like to be teleported into a country because you don't know whether the world that you'll be transported into would actually have water and oxygen. So good responses, good thinking. Okay, so a lot of interesting answers coming in. I see country, I see world, mixed bag responses, guys. Thank you. And now your next question, everybody. To go back in time 1 year to talk to your past self, or go into the future 1 year to talk to your future self, what would you do? Would you want to go back to the past and maybe have a little conversation with your own self? Or would you like to go to the future maybe and just talk to yourself about something? So maybe for me, I think I would like to go ahead in the future. I'm one of those persons who like to actually look forward in life. So I think I can't really go and correct and maybe, delve too much about what has happened in the past. So I think maybe just go ahead in the future, talk to my future self, and just try and make this world a better place, try and make my life a little better, and just maybe work on my areas of improvement. Okay, so maybe yes, that would be my choice. What are your choices, everybody? Quickly tell me. All right, so I get future, all futuristic thought thinkers right here. Okay, so future. A lot of you want to go back, go to the future and talk to yourself. Maybe lovely, guys. Thank you for such amazing responses, all of you. Okay, all right. So I'm still getting responses. Future. Great. All right. Okay, lovely. And now moving on to the next question that I have for all of you here. Well, would you prefer to live without heating in the winter or air conditioning in the summer? So quickly tell me. Air conditioning in the summer or without heating in the winter, without the heaters? Well, for me, I think I can do without the heaters in the winters, because the last winter that we experienced, I made it a point that we didn't use heaters no matter how cold it was. So, I was working towards that, and that is something that I think I can do without. Okay, so maybe just load yourself with a lot of clothes and a lot of sweaters and snuggy warm sweaters and just enjoy the winters. But in summers, I think I totally need the air conditioner at that point of time. Okay, so that's something that I don't think I can do without. So tell me, what are your thoughts on this one? So I'm getting the same thoughts from a lot of you. I'm getting the heaters, okay, heating in winter, because yes, again, because blankets over blankets, a blanket fort basically, and can work in summers without AC. It actually won't be bearable. So very true, all of you. A lot of you are giving me the same responses. So everybody out here can do without the heating during the winters, okay? But summer, of course, we need the air conditioners, guys. Okay, lovely. Moving on to the next one. To be the most famous actor or famous singer. So what would you want to be, guys? Quickly, come on, tell me. I don't know what I like to be, but maybe I can try my hand at acting. Yeah. What do you think, guys? Should I try my hand at acting? Maybe. All right, so I get a lot of smileys for that one. Okay, maybe, but I think I'm fair enough and good enough as a teacher as of now. I don't think I'd like to go ahead and explore something so unknown for me. But definitely, if I was given an option between an actor or a singer, I think I don't think I have that kind of voice who could actually sing. So maybe an actor. Yeah. Tell me your responses, everyone, quickly. All right, so I'm getting like a mixed bag again. I'm getting some singers right here. Okay, wow. And this is interesting. Okay, Sanjukta has got some really interesting responses, and I love your answers today in the chat box. It is an actor who's also a good singer, like Ayushmann Khurrana. Definitely, we know a lot of actors who are good singers. So, yeah, almost a lot of you also want to be multi talented, is it? Great, great. Good thinking, everybody. Okay, so I'm still getting actors, singers are in the chat box. Great. Moving on. Do you prefer to have a plate of biryani or a plate of spaghetti? Come on. Biryani or spaghetti? For me, I think spaghetti loaded with cheese. Okay, I love my spaghetti that way. So definitely spaghetti loaded with cheese. What are your choices, guys? Quickly, I'm hungry now. Okay, after listening to this question, so come on, tell me, what are your choices, everyone? So I'm getting a few of you are biryani lovers. Okay, lovely. A few of you are spaghetti lovers also. So I get biryani is life. Wow, I get biryani is life. Biryani is love. Okay, biryani is great. And a lot of you are biryani lovers here. I can see a few spaghettis, but mostly it's about the biryanis. Huh? Biryani love. All right, lovely. So, guys, thank you for being so active during Break the Ice, and let us just move forward now. Okay, and moving forward to today's agenda, we have starting with your comedy podcast. And like I mentioned in my last session, and now we will be starting with our comedy podcast, everybody. Okay, create a comedy podcast that your audiences are going to love. Okay, let's see how we can do that. Okay, plan your show, guys. Get clear on what you're going to talk about and why your audiences will care. Once you know what direction you're headed, you will get great results, all of you. So please get a little bit clarity. Complete clarity, in fact, on what you're going to be talking about on your show, because it is your comedy based podcast show. So you have to be clear about what you're going to be putting forward to your audiences right there. Okay, and you have to understand that why your audiences will care, why would they actually tune in every single day to your podcast. And once you know what direction you're headed to, you will definitely get your results. Okay, if you know which way you're going, I always say, have your goal in mind. Plan that out in advance, and that's when you will get your results. You will visibly be able to see the results. You'll be able to see that a lot of people are downloading your podcast. You'll be able to see that you have a follower list of people who are actually tuning into your podcast every single day, guys. Okay, so please plan everything related to your show in advance. Okay. Moving on to the next pointer that we have for all here. Just get started. And why have I put this point out here? Because a lot of us just keep thinking and we keep thinking, what are we going to do? Okay, what's going to happen? And how are we going to start? How are we going to move in? My tip to all of you is, guys, just get started. Don't get caught up on the details. Okay, don't get too much caught up on the details. Don't get too caught up with all the planning in place. Don't keep thinking that how will I start, how will I move forward. Most creators, they get stuck on some of the most mundane things. What will people think? Will this be funny? The fact of the matter is, you won't get any listeners really early on, and we've discussed this earlier. We all know that our listeners are not going to increase overnight. It's not going to start like right away. You go ahead with one episode and you get like a list of listeners. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, so gradually that is going to build up. So what happens is, when you start, you have that span, that time, okay, to actually start practicing. Okay, that's more like a practice which you're doing online, which you're actually doing with the podcast in itself, the initial sessions, the initial episodes. So, like we always say, the cricketers, they go ahead and they actually play the final match, but they do have a lot of practice matches before that. So play your practice match, guys. Okay, go ahead and do that. Don't get caught up on the details as to how I should go ahead, what should I do, how should I move forward. Don't keep thinking, just go at it. Start with your podcast. All right, everybody. And now, moving on to the next one. Grow your online audiences. Okay, understand your audience and you'll find them. Connect with your audience and more will find you. Okay, I've always stressed on this pointer. Okay, grow your online audience. We are living in a digital world. We are surrounded with technology all over. You've got to be putting your podcast forward on social media. You've got to be promoting it. You've got to be searching for your audiences online as well. And online, when an audience is searching for your podcast, you've got to make it easy for them to actually search for your podcast. So again, like I always say, that please put forward your podcast all across on social media, on the net, so that it's easy for the audiences to locate you. And trust me, once they locate you, once they buy in to the thought that you're putting forward in your podcast, you will have a loyal list of listeners. Okay, and I hope that these pointers are clear, everybody. Is it clear? I need to hear from all of you in the chat box. Just send in a yes, just send in a thumbs up, just send me anything that just tells me that these few pointers that we discussed right now is clear to everybody. Okay, okay. So I'm getting a lot of yes, yes, yes. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And now moving on, how to launch your comedy podcast. Okay, so how will you launch it? All right. How will you? We've gotten started with the comedy podcast, and let's just see how we're going to go ahead and launch that comedy podcast of yours. Okay. So moving on to the first pointer, discover your comedy style, everybody. Understand your unique sense of humor. Okay, that is the first step to creating a podcast. Okay, all of you, obviously, when you're going ahead with a comedy style, okay, you're going ahead with a comedy based podcast, you do have your own unique sense of humor. Okay, and that's the reason that you're putting this forward. So identify your comedy style, whether you're comfortable with doing a stand up comedy, okay, maybe behind the lens, okay, and on the microphone, all right, or whether you're comfortable in a dark comedy zone, okay, whether you're comfortable in an anecdotal comedy wherein you bring about personal comic experiences to your audiences, and whether you want to go ahead with dry comedy wherein you are putting comedy forward but you don't have a lot of expression. Okay, so again, with all these different styles of comedies, these are all different styles, and there are a number of other styles also. If you research on it, you get a lot of styles. There's black comedy, there's dark comedy, then there's the dry comedy, stand up, there's anecdotal, a lot of number of these comedies. So definitely discover your own comedy style, discover the style that you're most comfortable in, and the style that you want your audiences to recognize you with. Okay, go ahead and discover the comedy style of yours. All right. And now moving on, work out on your comedy creativity muscles. And like we discussed in our last episode, a lot of people feel that comedy, timing, sense of humor is something that you're born with, but you have to brush up on those skills as well. Work on your comedy point of view by writing, practicing, getting creative with what you like to laugh at and how others can laugh along with you. Make your comedy come more naturally to you guys. Okay, don't make it something that the audiences, because like I said, the audiences could actually sense what you're trying to say. So bring let it flow naturally, let the comedy, let the timing, let your sense of humor flow naturally to your audiences. Okay, so work out your comedy creativity muscles, everybody. Okay, flex those muscles and get your comedy into place. Okay, now moving on to the next one that we have for all of you here: create comedy content consistently. Now, what makes an online comedian? Okay, creating funny content more than once, basically. And in order to stand out online, you can't stop creating. Okay, this that one day you put up something like a podcast and then you forget about it. One episode and it's done. No, you have to be consistent, and this is something that we have spoken about right from the start of our podcasting journey. Consistency is the key. You cannot stop creating. And most amateur online comedians, they post one funny bit and they quit after that. Okay, you will no longer remain relevant if you just stop being funny, or even worse, if you stop posting, or if you stop recording that episode and putting it forward to your audiences. You'll have to start all over again, because you are doing a podcast which is again a niche, a comedy content podcast. Okay, so you've got to be consistent with it. You can't just put in one episode and then come with another episode like after a month's time, and then your audiences even forget that what you were saying, or how they felt the first time they actually tune into your episode. So please keep consistency as a major element. Try and put in your podcast episodes as much as you can, and like I always say, before you start your journey, record as many episodes as possible. Okay, record like a bunch of episodes and then go ahead and start your podcast, guys. Okay, now moving on to the next pointer: understand and magnetize your online audiences. Get followers that love your content and keep them wanting for more. Basically, magnetize your online audiences. Understand the nitty gritties, understand what are the challenges, understand understand them in and out, basically. Okay, the audience is the king, and like I always say that your audience is the king. Okay, in marketing they say the customer is the king. In podcasting, your listeners are your kings. Okay, so you've got to cater to them, you've got to understand them and magnetize your audiences. Okay, so, guys, these were all the little pointers that I had to share with all of you regarding launching that comedy podcast of yours. And if it is clear, just give me a thumbs up quickly in the chat box, everybody. All right, okay. Okay, all right, lovely, lovely, guys. Thank you so much. Now it's time for the fun activity, everybody. And this is fun activity number one. So you've got to stay tuned because we have two of these, okay, coming forward for all of you. All right. So let's crack PJs together. As usual, it's a comedy podcast, and we are cracking some PJs here, okay? And can a kangaroo jump higher than the Empire State Building? So tell me your responses. Do you think a kangaroo can actually jump higher than the Empire State Building, everybody? All right, so I get a lot of the laughs there. I get a lot of the grins there, okay? The question marks also coming in there. All right, and they say, okay, all right, all of you are thinking, and well, the answer is of course it can, because the Empire State Building can't jump, right? So the Empire State Building can't jump, and that's why the kangaroo can, guys. Okay, that is your response, okay? So yes, I get an Empire State Building cannot jump. All right, thank you for this response now. All right, now moving on to the next one. The next PJ. Why did the teacher put on sunglasses? So why do you think the teacher put on sunglasses, guys? Any responses on this one? So a lot of you are giving me thinking. Okay, the teacher was thinking. No, then she'll have to put on she or he would have to put on the thinking cap. No, not sunglasses. Then in that case, right? Okay. So can't see properly. Maybe think of a better response, guys. Okay. All right, so I think I should give it out to all of you. Well, the response is because her students were so bright, and I think I, as a teacher, would also have to wear my glasses because I think this lot is really bright. All of you are really bright, and all of you come up with such amazing thoughts and answers always, guys. So I think I should wear glasses. Okay, the next time. All right, so now the next one. Where do fish keep their money? Think on this one, guys. Where do you think fish keep their money? Okay, so I get it's like a unanimous answer that everybody has given me, and there are the smileys that are coming in. A lot of you are showing me that, all right. Okay, and well, yes, the answer is in the river bank, everybody. Okay, all right, lovely. Moving on to the next PJ that we have here. Why did the pitcher go to jail? Any thoughts on this one? Why do you think the pitcher went to jail? Yes, and the answer is right here. Yes, everybody's correct. It was framed, and that's the reason that the pitcher went to jail. Okay. Now, the next response. What do you call a dog that can tell time? So, what do you call a dog that can actually tell time? Come on, this one. So, a lot of you also giving me the think emojis. Huh? Okay, really? All right. So, now come on, tell me, what do you call a dog that can tell time, guys? Yes, it is. It is a watchdog, everybody. Well done. Huh? All of you are good with the PJs, or all of you have researched this time on the PJs, I feel, from my last session. Okay. And you can use these PJs with your family members as well. Okay. And now, moving on, guys. 5 fun podcasts for you to listen to. So, all the comedy lovers who like a good laugh, definitely tune in to these comedy podcasts. All right. So, this one. Cyan and Robert's comedy circuit. Okay, so this is the comedy circuit where you can just hang out in their strange world. And if you want to have a comedy song made up just for you, you're definitely lucky because Robot used to be in a band and he's after your suggestions for song titles. The better title you suggest, okay, a song title, the funnier the song will be. And Cyan is going to pick the very best title every episode. So it's like a fun comedy podcast, and you should definitely tune in to this one. And the next one is hilarious. Okay, so if you can see the spelling of hilarious is spelled a little differently out here. If you can see the logo also there, it's a whimsy filled wisecracking podcast where a child who has a sense of humor or who is developing one will find a steady stream of laugh out loud levity where playful gags, funny puns, and one liners serve as a wonderful tutorial for youngsters. Okay, so it's a great learning, okay, for all of you who want to go ahead with the comedy podcast as well. So definitely check this out also. Okay, so hilarious. All right. Now, moving on to the next one that I have for all of you here. Highlights Hangout, guys. Highlights Hangout is basically a monthly podcast that brings Highlights Magazine, an American icon, to life in a whole new way. And this magazine style show, hosted by Tim Kubat and Jonita Anderson, basically offers a unique audio spin on the stories, characters, puzzles, and jokes that millions of kids dive into each month into the pages, of highlights, including Goofus and Gallant, and the hidden sound game. And listeners submitted jokes, tongue twisters, poems, wow-worthy science questions. All this actually goes. This is actually answered by Mindy Thomas and Guy Raz from Wow in the World. Okay, so it's a great one. So definitely you can tune into this one as well. Highlights Hangout is the name. Okay. Moving on to the next one that we have, Dear Hank and John. Okay. Host John and Hank Green, they're author and YouTubers, and they both offer humorous and heartfelt advice about life's big and small questions. Okay. They bring their personal passions to each episode by sharing the week's news from Mars, the planet, and AFC Wimbledon, the third tier English football club, guys. Okay, so dear Hank and John. And now moving on to the next one that we have for all of you here is My Brother and Me. Okay, so if you can see the logo right here, it's a catchy name, and it's a weekly comedy advice podcast distributed by the Maximum Fun Network and hosted by brothers Justin, Travis, and Griffin McElroy. And regular episodes of the podcast feature the brothers comically providing answers to questions either submitted by listeners or found on Yahoo. All right. So it's a fun podcast wherein these group of brothers are having a good time, and that's what their listeners also do. They enjoy and they have a good time with this podcast. All right. So all these fun podcasts, guys, these 5 podcasts that we have spoken about, you can definitely tune into them and maybe have a good laugh first and foremostly. And secondly, you can also get an idea about how you want to go ahead with your own comedy podcast. All right. Okay, everyone. And now, like I mentioned, we have like one more fun activity in line for everybody. So this is time for fun activity number 2, guys. Come on, quickly brace yourselves for this fun activity right away, right now. Okay. So now identify the famous comedians. That is the fun activity. And how can we not talk about the famous comedians, because we are doing the comedy based podcast, everybody. So we have to give them credit. We have to talk about these famous comedians that we have here, right? Okay, so the first picture here, I'm going to be showing you some pictures basically, and you have to tell me your responses about who is the comedian. Who do you think is the comedian? All right. So here is the first picture. Identify him. So who do you think is this comedian, everyone? Who do you think is this one? Quickly. Okay, so as soon as I sort of gave out the picture, I get a lot of responses from a lot of you, because I think he's a very popular comedian and we all love him. Yes, guys, we all totally adore him. We love watching him on screen. I get the correct responses. Yes, it is none other than our very own favorite. It is Mr. Bean, okay? And Rowan Atkinson, and English actor, comedian, writer. He's basically the best known for his work on the sitcoms Blackadder and, of course, Mr. Bean. So, how many of you actually enjoy Mr. Bean? Quickly, okay. All right. So, Mr. Bean, and some of you actually know their name also. That's great. Great to know that. Okay. So, you guys really follow him. I can see that. So, how many of you enjoy Mr. Bean? Quickly tell me in the chat box. Can I get a show of hands for Mr. Bean, everybody? Come on. All right. So I think most of you, the majority of you, are giving me the claps, the thumbs up, the high fives for Mr. Bean. Wow. A lot of you actually enjoy Mr. Bean. I can see that. Lovely, guys. Lovely. Moving on to the next one. Now, this comedian, another very famous face. I'm sure a lot of you have seen him. Okay, light up the screen. So quickly tell me, who is this comedian, guys? Any guesses on this one? Who do you think is this comedian? Identify him. Come on, quickly. All of you. All right, so I see a few think emojis also there. I'm seeing a few answers also there. I'm seeing a few. Okay, I'm seeing a few correct answers, but I'll just let the others also, maybe respond and tell me that who do you think is this? Identify this. Okay. All right. So a lot of you are also giving me, responses from the film that he belongs to. That is one hint that I'm giving to all of you. And yes, guys, most of you are correct. A lot of you are correct. And I'll give this out. It is none other than Paresh Rawal. Paresh Rawal is basically an Indian actor, comedian, film producer, and politician, popularly known for his works, notably in Hindi films. And one of the most loved Hindi movies, Bollywood movies of Paresh Rawal definitely is Hera Fairy. Okay, a lot of us have actually seen that movie and we love that movie. All right. Now, the next one, this comedian, very famous, extremely good at his craft, and somebody we love listening to, and we thoroughly enjoy his comic timing, guys. So quickly tell me, who is this person? I'm sure a lot of you have seen him. Okay, so I'm getting the correct responses already because a lot of you are aware about this comedian. And okay, I'll just give a minute to people who are still typing in, and let me see if you can give me the correct answer. Okay, yes, and the correct answer, well, a lot of you have given me the correct answer. Yes, 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 yes. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so the correct answer, guys, is Johnny Lever. He is an Indian actor and a comedian who is known for his works in Hindi cinema. And he's one of the first stand up comedians in India. And I'm glad that a lot of you actually know that. A lot of you have actually sent me that response in the chat box also, that he was a stand up comedian before being an actor. All right. So that is Johnny Lever for all of you, and we've all enjoyed his movies. We've also enjoyed his stand-up comedies that he does, and we've all loved his performances thoroughly. Okay, so Johnny Lever. All right, and can we hear it for this man? He's done such great work. So let's just hear it for him. Come on, quickly in the chat box, everybody, guys. Okay, so I can see a lot of applause is coming in, a lot of hearts are coming in. Great, guys, great. Thank you so much. And now, this one. Identify this man right here. Quickly, another very famous person to quickly identify. He's risen to fame very recently. So, who is he? Who is he, guys? Quickly. Come on, tell me. So, a lot of you are typing in. I can see that. I can see, okay. A lot of the correct responses also coming in. There are a few who are questioning, giving me questions who've not seen him probably. Okay, all right. So I'll just give like a second to people who are still typing in, and then maybe I can reveal the correct answer to all of you. And okay, a few more responses. All right, and well, yes, it is Kapil Sharma, guys. He is an Indian comedian, television presenter, actor, and film and TV producer. Known popularly, his show is known by the Kapil Sharma show, and it's a very famous show as far as India and across the world also. He's really famous, okay, and a lot of people thoroughly enjoy his comedy, his sense of humor, and which really appeals to a lot of audience. He usually has this live audiences right in his studio, and they all have a good time. They have a blast basically during his episodes. And if you haven't checked out his episodes, you should definitely check this out as well, okay, for the kind of comic timing and for the sense of humor that this man has. Now, the next one. All of you here, identify this man here. Who is this man? Okay, he's got a great expression, a funny expression on his face as well. So he is, of course, somebody who's a very famous comedian. Okay, so come on, quickly tell me, who is this man right here on your screen? Can you identify him? Okay, so a lot of the think emojis are popping in. Okay, a lot of you are thinking, I can see that. All right, all right. Some of you are also giving me the correct answers, which is great. I get like two correct answers as of now in my chat box. I'm waiting for a few of you to also respond and give me the correct answers, guys, and that's when I will move forward. All right, all right. So now I'm getting a few more of these correct responses, and I'm glad that a lot of you do identify him. Well, it is Jim Carrey, and he's a Canadian actor, comedian, writer, producer, known for his energetic slapstick performances. Okay, and of course some of his performances are from the movie Mask and from the movie, Bruce Almighty. So all these movies are something that Jim Carrey is really famous for, and his performances are great. Okay, they are amazing performances that he has, and he's actually shown all of us. So definitely, you should go and see some of his movies. If, in case you haven't, seen any of Jim Carrey's movies, you should, guys. Okay, he's a master. He's a master with comedy, and he's somebody who aces it like nobody else. Okay. Now, moving on to the last one. Okay, The Grinch also for Jim Carrey. Yes, wow, lovely. So a lot of you, I think, have seen, Jim Carrey's movies. And can we hear it for Jim Carrey, guys? Come on, quickly, everybody. Okay, lovely, lovely. All right. Okay, so now the next clue for all of you. Identify this man here. Who do you think this person is? Okay, who is this person? Any guesses on this one? Quickly. All right. So I'm getting a lot of think emojis. I'm not getting responses as of now for this one. Huh? I think a lot of you are not aware or have not seen, but he's really popular, guys. Okay, so I get my first correct response here. Okay, lovely, lovely. Okay. All right, so I will maybe, give a second to people to maybe recognize this man out here. I'm getting the correct responses now. I think a lot of you have figured out who he is. He's very famous and well known. So let us see the correct answer now. Well, guys, it is Zakir Khan, an Indian YouTuber, stand up comedian, writer, poet, presenter, and an actor. And this guy is really famous, okay? A lot of you have enjoyed, I'm sure a lot of you have enjoyed his stand up show, especially. And he's a master with that, okay? He does stand up comedy like nobody else does, all right? So now the next clue for all of you here. One of my personal favorites. Okay, so come on, tell me. This man is a legend. Okay, so come on, quickly, guys. What do you think about this? All right. So as soon as the picture flashes in the screen, I get so many correct responses, and it's more like my chat box is flooded with the smiles, the grins, and the correct responses right away. And of course, all of you are correct. This man is none other than Charlie Chaplin, okay, famously known as Charlie Chaplin, Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin, okay, an English comic actor, filmmaker, and composer who rose to fame in the era of silent film. And he can do comedy without, using any words. Okay, he's got the most amazing comic timing, and yes, is of course the most iconic of the silent film era. Definitely, Charlie Chaplin. Everybody, and can we hear it loud and clear for this man as well, and for all these comedians, in fact, we just saw on screen, and we just enjoy every single time. And they light up the screen, they light up our days, and they just make us smile, guys. Okay, so can we hear it loud and clear for all the comedians? Come on, all the applauses right here in my chat box, right away, everybody. Okay, lovely, 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 guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, and I think we are almost done, and the applauses are still coming in, the hearts are still coming in. So glad to see that. We're almost done with today's episode. And now, before I sign off for today, a quick recap, guys. Well, we started with creating a comedy podcast, and I gave out some pointers regarding how you can go ahead and create that comedy podcast. After that, we moved on to launching a comedy podcast, everybody. Yes, we discussed some pointers, and I hope these are clear, guys. I need to hear a yes in the chat box right away before I close the session for today, that everybody is clear, because after this, okay, you guys are going to go ahead and record that comedy podcast of yours. So you've got to be clear on the basics, okay? All right, so I'm getting a lot of yes, yes, okay, done. All right, clear, clear. Okay, lovely, lovely. So I'm getting a lot of yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for those responses, everybody. I'm so glad, okay, that everybody's clear on this. And of course, after that, today we discussed about 5 fun podcasts to listen. So you should maybe just tune in to all these different podcasts. These are all podcasts related to fun and related to comic timings and related to comedy. So you should definitely tune into all of them. Okay, and now it's time for the homework, the fun homework, everybody. Well, the homework for all of you today is that follow the steps and write down your own podcast. record that podcast when you are done with constructing the podcast. So once you're done with constructing your podcast, it would now be time to hit record and actually record it. Refer to the fun podcast that we talked about to get a better idea about comedy podcasting. And like I always say, please tune into these different podcasts that we discuss in all our episodes. And so that you get a better hang of it, you have a better idea of how you want to go ahead with your own comedy podcast, everybody, right? Okay. And now, well, what's next? And to tell and inform all my viewers, well, we're almost through with our podcasting journey. We're at the end of our podcasting journey and we're going to be closing it very soon. So, of course, we have the concluding episode for all of you regarding your podcasting journey right away tomorrow. Okay, that is our concluding episode. And the concluding episode is all about the podcast presentation skills. So, it's like, we are summarizing all that we have discussed in so many days regarding podcasting. And more or less, I think there would be no better conclusion because at PlanetSpark, all we talk about mostly is public speaking and creative writing and how to enhance that skill. And that's what we will be talking about in tomorrow's episode. It is going to be about podcast presentation skills, everybody. All right. So thank you everybody for being with me today evening. Please tune into my session tomorrow as well. And thank you so much once again. Take care, everybody. And I'll see you in my next session. Bye bye.